Hello.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Starbucks this late, Danny.
It's been one of those days. So the day's
I
not over
hear.
yet. So
I completely understand.
how's the school year starting?
It's pretty good.
Then I see you have a date on the calendar for some filming. Is that right?
October 13th. Yes.
That's awesome.
Yes, it is. The kids are excited.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad we were able to kind of work that out. So,
Yeah.
and then you met Gail.
Hmm?
Met Gail.
Yes, I did. She was very nice.
Mhm. She is. She's a wonderful help. So we'll talk a little bit about her today, not too much, but she'll probably be joining a lot of our contacts and stuff like that as we're kind of moving forward a little bit.
That's what she said.
Yeah, you'll see her doing a lot of stuff on the sides and stuff, kind of helping out with some of the day-to-day logistics and things like that.
She said she was going to be more involved.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder, well, so I know a couple people have said that they're going to be able to make it, but as usual, we'll give them some time and then go from there.
Dance break.
Yes.
Except it rings on all of my devices.
Oh, yes, I remember that. You have an iPhone?
Yes, of course.
Have you updated to iOS 10 yet?
No. I
No.
try and wait till they weed out all the bugs and then I do it.
There's some pretty um, significant changes.
Yeah.
It's the more significant changes that I've seen in an iOS update in a long time.
Yeah, there was one, gosh, a couple years ago, and it was the last major one they had, I guess, and I held off on that with all my devices in my classroom. I was like, ooh,
Yeah, I remember those days.
I don't like change until they figure out what they're doing.
Yeah, well, normally I'm pretty strict to not buy anything that is first generation, just
Mhm.
for that simple fact. So,
Very true. But I love how the MacBook coordinates with the iPhone and the iPad, and I think that's neat.
mhm.
I'm a Mac person, though.
So am I. I am on my big 27, 34-inch iMac right now. How big it is, I don't know.
Wow.
So,
One of my parents bought me a MacBook actually last year. Year before? Last year.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
I know. Very generous parents.
That is awesome.
Yes. And she bought several Chromebooks for my class. She was amazing.
That's incredible.
And a Dunkin' Donuts coffee every morning, Danny.
That's, geez.
I know. I'm keeping her around. I said I was going to fail her kids. She had twins in the same class.
I mean, all I ever got were some gift cards and stuff.
Homemade crayon presents.
Yeah, ornaments. That was a big one.
Yeah. Very true. I know. That was amazing.
And you get a MacBook. What in the world?
I know, right?
Absurd. That's incredible. I'm having a hard enough time getting my company to give me a MacBook.
You need to recruit her then because
I don't want a PC. I want a MacBook.
I know.
You don't get a MacBook for your position. That's nonsense. I can do my position better with a MacBook.
Exactly. I could definitely make the argument for that.
Yeah. Well, I tried. It failed. So I went and bought it. So they're fine. Just do it myself.
There you go.
So that's incredible. Wow. That may be the greatest parent gift I've ever heard of.
Mm-hmm. Her kids were in my class. They're in 5th grade now, and I'm 3rd grade teacher. So there was a couple years ago, and she still volunteers every week for me.
Wow. That's awesome.
She didn't buy anybody else a MacBook, though.
Favorite. That's pretty funny.
Oh, no.
So what are you doing in your classes? Like anything innovative going on?
Always something innovative.
So
Just getting them on logged on. It's a couple week process, but we've kind of, I know with October 13th coming up quickly, we've kind of hit the ground running with journeys too.
Awesome.
Tammy's been a huge help.
Yeah, she's really good.
Yes. Gail seemed surprised by how connected, I guess, I was with people in Mifflin Harcourt, and she said nobody else has had that.
Yeah, it's probably not so Gail's from Florida, and she's a project manager down there, but she supports a lot of times the Southeast and what we call the Mid-South, which would be kind of the whole eastern side of the country. And I don't think, because North Carolina has a very unique way that they do purchasing and things like that, we try to pride ourselves a little bit more maybe on the whole customer service element of it, as opposed to some of the other places, because that's just one thing that we think will really separate us from other people. So we want to make sure that when we interact with any teachers, principals, superintendents, whoever, whatever level might be, they really look at us as more of a partner, if you will, than someone who's just here to sell you resources.
Right.
Because that's not just what our intent is. All of us came from education. So we all have a pretty deeply invested concept in what we think betters education. So, that's one thing we try to do a little bit across the board whenever we can. So, and Tammy's really good at it. She actually is really excellent about going at what we call the school level and building those relationships at those school levels and kind of working her way upward. So she's really excellent at that.
Yeah, and everybody who's come out has been super helpful. And so this year I was, so over the summer I looked at Go Math and started with Go Math this school year too. So it's been neat. I get to start the year with it, I guess. So
right, yeah, that's something we're on our end. We're kind of excited to see too, because a lot of this really got off the ground a little bit later than we had hoped last year. So now that you guys have had access to the program and you're able to start, we're really interested in seeing how that's going to translate for the whole year.
Yeah, that was beneficial though. I guess you kind of got your feet wet and learned what you were doing so that you could start the year off right from the beginning.
Yeah.
Kind of knowing what works best and just learning a new group of kids too. That takes a little bit, but
that does.
At least I feel more comfortable with the program itself. So.
Right. Well, that's good. That's good. And, the concept of what you're doing in October, that comfort will probably be pretty evident, like on a video camera too. So
yeah, I'm hoping so anyway.
It's good that you've had, even half a year prior to the beginning of this year.
Yeah.
You become acclimated with the program, the resources and things like that.
Yeah. But I didn't realize, because third grade, they haven't really had too much computer experience one-on-one up until this point. And we were doing our first story last week, I guess it was, and I said something about highlighting and making a note, and they were like, see, we had to stop and have a mini lesson on how just to highlight a sentence. It blew their mind. They were like, and even I was like, all right, you press it with your thumb and then you use your pointer finger, and they were like, what? So it's complicated. You don't realize how complicated it is to teach too.
Yes. Yeah. So, and that's the interesting part too, especially for your age. Your age is really unique because you end up getting wrestled with not only teaching the kind of content, but also teaching from a technology standpoint how to interact with the content.
Yes.
So whereas your
right click
schools will probably have that knowledge already.
Yeah. Yes. And then the following year, because we start going 1-to-1 in third grade in our county, so fourth, fifth on, they're pretty knowledgeable.
Right.
But getting them in our county, of course, does these crazy passwords and long usernames, and the uppercase, lowercase, and the O's look like zeros, and that's a nightmare. Straight week of typing in a password.
Yeah, and then forgetting passwords.
I made little cards, though. Very organized.
Good thing.
Know that.
Yeah. Cards. I've seen people tape things inside notebooks. I've seen people tape things on desks.
Yep. I made a little Google driver's license, And it was pretty big, like a 3x5, and I had all their pastors in the back, and I laminated them, and they keep them in their little computer hole, and just like a real driver's license, it can be taken away if they're not using it.
Oh, I like it. Yeah. That's clever.
Yes, so it encourages them to use it properly.
That's pretty awesome. I sent an email out. Everybody, what's going on here?
I'm telling you.
You got the email, obviously. You're on here.
I got the email.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9. I heard from
that one girl who CC'd everybody.
Love when they do that.
I know. Reply all. Reply all.
Amazing concept. So you have no idea. So our company is massive, right? We're trying to go across the entire nation. We have international divisions. And so there are people, there's a message from Karen. There are people in our company that do all kinds of things, and the number just gets, is it up? I'm not getting anything. I don't know if it's my phone. It hasn't started yet. So we have a lot of people in our company. So there'll be emails that go out to hundreds of people. And of course, there's somebody who
there's always one.
And it starts like this snowball. One reply all, another reply all. And then we've got to tell people, hey, stop hitting reply all. Hit just reply.
Exactly. Same thing with our county, too.
Yeah. Sad. So maybe it's not just third graders that need some instruction on how to.
I know.
Maybe we need to scale that up a little bit. Oh, let's see. Karen, how'd you go? So what time on October 13th?
They're coming in the morning, like 9 o'clock, I think she said.
9 o'clock. Okay. I may try to swing by if I'm in the area. Let's see. It is live. Yeah, Ann Watkins over in Charlotte did a video for us at the end of the beginning of the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And she did a really good job. It was perfect.
Oh, good.
It'll be nice to get a little more, because what I'd like to see is to see us put little featurettes on this.
Mm-hmm. What
each of you are doing in your classrooms, and it doesn't have to be relative to HMH, but just what each of you are doing in your classrooms on the webpage, so that when people go to look at what this program is and what it entails, what are the benefits, they'll be able to see, hey, look, there's a teacher, she's doing some amazing things that gets me interested, I want to apply to. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the concept and what we would like to see kind of happen. So we've got you doing a little bit of a video. We've got Anne, who already did one, and then Kelly Cave up in Surrey is going to do one too. And you guys are kind of like the first 3, and then we'll shift it out to another 3 and another 3. And in the meantime, we have applications up for a new cohort.
Yeah, I sent that to the county people in our office because they kind of have they go into the classrooms a lot too, so they know who would be a good fit for that.
Sure, that's awesome. That's great. So, in the end, that would be kind of the ideal element, would be to really, again, build this kind of army or cadre of teachers who can just lean on each other as we move a little more digital.
Yeah.
That's kind of what we're going to talk about today, which we'll probably just go ahead and get doing. So, and then whatever I tell you, I'll just email everybody else. So we've taken this up a notch, shall we say. Mm-hmm. And we've taken it to another division within HMH, which is our professional services division. And we've told them they're the ones who do professional development, schools and districts. And they specifically have a division that focuses on digital learning and educational technology. And part of that division are the incorporation of thought leaders in that field to lead those professional development opportunities and even do keynote speaking and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So we brought them into the table to see kind of if there were any ways they could support both the program and you guys kind of moving forward. And they were really, really excited. And so what they've done is they're giving us access, shall we say, to one of their thought leaders in the educational technology field. His name is Weston Keshnick, and in the email that I'll send as a follow-up when we're done, I'll give you a little bit of a bio as to kind of who he is. He's huge into Twitter, real big into both digital learning, educational technology. He's got his own blog that he kind of writes about what's going on in ed tech today. Mm-hmm. And he's real personable, really, really good guy. And so what we're going to do is we're going to give you guys kind of exclusive access to him in webinars throughout the year. That's so cool. What we'll do is everybody will kind of get on the webinar, and he will really just kind of start the conversation up about what you guys are doing around digital learning and the incorporation of technology in your class, and what types of concepts are you seeing. He's really big into blended learning, so you'll hear him talk about that a lot, I'm sure. And it's really just giving you guys an opportunity to bounce ideas and thoughts off of him, and at the same time to absorb some of his expertise, right, that he's kind of gathered in the research that he's done and the places that he goes, throughout the year. And the first day that we're going to do this is on the 28th. Okay. So that's in the first email that I sent that kind of said, everybody, reserve this date. Right. So it'll be September 28th. It'll be at 5:30. And we'll probably have around 3 or 4 different little webinar events for you guys to get on, to talk to him, and to really have, again, this kind of one-on-one access to him, which isn't something that everybody gets. And so with that also, he's also going to kind of help facilitate a possible use of Twitter as a way of kind of extending and continuing whatever conversations you guys have in those webinars. So if you think back last year, we tried to use the Slack platform, talk a little bit and to share out resources and ideas and things like that. And it didn't really take off, and that's fine. So what we wanted to do is get you guys into something a little more. Everybody's trying to download the app, so they're not on a web, they're on a phone or an iPad or something like that. So that's why they're not on.
They don't have a MacBook.
Yeah, see, I mean, that wouldn't solve the problem. If everybody had a MacBook, everybody would be happy. So throughout that, as a way to kind of continue that, as again an effort to give you a platform to share resources and even questions that you might have as you get a little more deeper into any piloting programs that you're doing. We're going to look at really beefing up our facilitation of Twitter to use that. And again, with that, Weston will kind of almost facilitate a conversation with you guys throughout Twitter as we're kind of moving forward. Almost, I mean, it may even develop into kind of put you in like a little Twitter group, letting you and him and everybody else kind of be a part of that group. So that, again, you kind of have almost really individualized access to what he's doing. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now. There is also the possibility of maybe looking at some further opportunities for sponsoring some people with some conferences and things like that. There's some red tape that we've got to get through to pull that off. But he is a part of the professional development group is a part of a pretty large conference called the Model Schools Conference that they lead. I think down in Florida every year. And they may look at the possibility of maybe bringing some of you down with them, again, to kind of promote the program, share out what you're doing in your classes and things like that. So that's kind of where we are in moving forward a little bit. again, you
Is he the one that did that book that Tammy gave me with digital citizenship?
So that was probably Eric Scheininger.
Oh.
Now, he is also accessible. And that he will probably join in on some of the webinars too. Weston is just going to kind of start everything off.
Mm-hmm.
But he's another one. So Eric and Weston are our two digital thought leaders, if you will. So the two of them are probably going to be almost joining in, tag teaming on, again, giving you guys accessibility to their, expertise and their ideas, and really helping you develop your own as you're moving forward, and what you do in the class and how you do it as a technology and as a digital learning is kind of thought about. So that's the big piece, is that we're again trying to amp up a little bit for you guys in particular, because you are the second year in our first cohort. Increase a little bit of your accessibility and really get you access to some people that are going to hopefully elevate some of your thoughts and self, and what you're doing, how you're doing it, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that's kind of where we are. As I get a definitive timeline after the 28th, a lot of this will probably be shared in a little more formal manner on the 28th. I just wanted to try to get everybody together. But
right.
You really need to be here on the 28th if you can, so that we can all be a part of this, because we really like it. So that's kind of what this is, more like a welcome back type piece. So any questions? Anything?
So they're going to focus on the technology in the classroom in relation to Houghton Mifflin too?
No. Well, I mean, so they do perform some coaching services for us as part of being accessible in our professional development and professional services division, but they are not specific to just Houghton Mifflin. So, they blog about and write about, the effective uses of educational technology, not relative to just us. So, I mean, you're probably going to be getting exposure to ideas and thoughts that are not just related to our programs, not just related to your pilots, but more related to the concepts and to the strategies of effectively using digital learning, educational technology in any classroom.
Very cool.
So that's kind of the idea. And it's one thing that I would love to see eventually grow within this group in particular, is yes, the name of the program, of course, is Houghton Mifflin Harcourt Digital Teacher Leaders. But I don't want you to think that.
Hi, I'm here.
Hey, you joined us.
Hey. I'm sitting at my daughter's black belt worlds, and it hit me. I was like, oh my goodness. So I'm sitting here downloading the app. Anyway, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. But yeah, I want, when you share things out and when you touch people and you talk to things, I don't want it just to be Houghton Mifflin stuff.
Yeah.
If you've got really cool things like that little card idea that you share, that's a great little thing. That's a neat little way, an innovative little way to give them passwords and to possibly take that privilege away.
Mm-hmm.
That's something to share.
But even finding ways to embed that technology into some of the stories that we have, there's a million ways, and not a lot of it through Think Central. So a lot of it's PDP and
sure.
PDFs and paper stuff, but kind of thinking of ways to bring out the story in digital ways, like tweets. We do tweets about the story and fake tweets, but I can't get Twitter at school. But different.
But yeah, even if it is our content, how do you even bring our content to life?
Yeah. Beyond
the initial capability of the program that you have access to, or the platform, like Think Central. So that's another way to share out.
I think that would be neat too. Sure.
Nicole, so what we were doing is just kind of talking a little bit about what we have upcoming.
Okay.
Year 2, if you will. The big thing is that as a company, we've expanded this program into other divisions in an effort to get them to kind of help us beef the program up a little bit,
Okay.
And part of that has created an opportunity to give you guys individual access to some of the digital thought leaders that we have in our services division. These are people who lead keynote speakers. These are keynote speakers at technology conferences.
Okay.
People who lead professional development and coaching sessions with directors of technology. And one in particular, his name is Weston Kesnick, is going to be kind of leading some webinars with you guys throughout the year. And that officially will start on the 28th around 5:30. I think I emailed that date for you guys to kind of earmark as something that'll be really exciting, because that's going to give, he's really going to kind of lead a conversation with you guys about some of his expertise and how to apply that in the classroom, both with HMH in mind and not just with HMH in mind. So, you know, you're really getting a specialized access to him and other people. Eric Scheininger is another one that we have access to, who's a real popular guy on Twitter, and so is Weston. And then we'll also look at them leading and the facilitation of whatever thoughts that you guys come up with in those webinars through Twitter a little more regularly this year.
Okay.
Twitter becomes the platform, if you will, that you guys share things back and forth. And I think that's what Ashley and I were talking about whenever you kind of joined in.
Okay.
The conversation can kind of be continued throughout. And, you know, like Ashley said, if someone has an innovative way to do something, to do X, you know, hop in Twitter, use a specific hashtag that's relative to just us, and share that out. So,
one that we can remember, because I can't remember the other one. HMH, I don't know.
Yes. One that we can remember.
Yes. Thank you, Danny.
So, but that's the idea. We are starting a second cohort as well. We're kind of taking applications for another group of people. So, you know, the original plan has always been to kind of grow you guys, if you will.
Okay.
And we'd also like to see, you know, your role in this group, you know, almost elevate a little bit too, which is why we are trying to elevate the benefits that you have access to and the things that you have access to, which is why we're bringing in these really big players in the ed tech field, if you will.
Okay.
But do you have any questions or any thoughts, any ideas?
I'm just kind of ready. I think this school year, I'm year round, so we kind of started back in July.
Wow.
I've just now gotten a chance to really use the program.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a new team with me that they've kind of jumped on board, and they're loving all the resources that I'm kind of allowing them to also use.
Great.
So getting a lot of feedback even from them. There are things that they figured out that I haven't figured out. But I was like, oh, well, I need to sit down and figure this out for myself too. So they've already certain parts. So it's kind of, I'm excited because, you know, I'm here in Wake County and we are in dire need of a reading program. And I'm also on the superintendent of stat committee, and that was something we were able to talk about last week, where I brought up we need a research-based reading program, and they seemed like they were listening, like we know. So hopefully,
and there's talks of them doing some type of a little pilot in places, I think in Wake County in particular. So I do think they're listening to you. But again, any feedback you can give them about what you have access to, especially if it's working, it's going really well, you know, obviously helps as well. So
I definitely will. I'll let them know that I have the resources, I'm using them, and they definitely would benefit K-5.
Great.
Definitely.
And I'm glad you shared it with your team. Again, that was kind of always our intent, was to, you know, give you guys a little bit of the seed, if you will, and then if you wanted to share it out with colleagues, do that so that everybody can kind of jump into having access. So that's great.
Okay.
That's great. Yeah, and you know, we're excited too. Like I said, we want to really kick it off. We've got a full year this time, not half a year.
Yeah.
We're hoping to, really get this thing going, get it exciting, and get it energetic, and really kind of put some life into it. And I'm pretty sure that Weston and his team will be able to do that pretty nicely too. They'll add a nice component to this.
Mm-hmm.
So, any other thoughts, questions, anything like that?
No, I'm sorry I was late. Like I said,
I
at my daughter's black belt world class, and it hit me. I was like, oh, and then I realized I didn't have the app on my phone. So I was like, let me download the app, and it took forever.
You got on at the important times. That's good.
Yeah. Well, all right. I'm excited. Like I said, I've been able to start at the beginning of the school year, so
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
Great. So again, the 28th, 5:30. I don't think we'll do it in a Google Hangout because it's being done by our services team. They'll probably send you a link to a WebEx or something.
Okay.
Like that. Maybe a GoToMeeting. I don't know which
And
one.
that would be like applicable to K-12, right? Or just the...
Oh yeah, no. Anything, all the concepts and the things that you guys talk about is applicable across the board.
Okay.
The whole spectrum of education. So, and I mean, in particular, I know that Kesnick was a teacher himself. I don't remember what level he taught at, but I do know he was a teacher, I think over in Fresno, if I remember right. So, again, he brings a pretty wealth of experience just about not only teaching, but teaching with technology, teaching in a blended learning environment. Those are kind of some big components that he's has a lot of experience in. So.
That's very exciting. I'm such a technology geek. I'm like, yay.
Yeah, that's 100%. That's out of, if I had today to pinpoint what do I miss about the class, it's that. It's being able to really get my kids into something new, into something that may really kind of incite their learning and excite them and innovate and stuff like that. Especially now because there's an iPad just released an app called Swift, and it's about learning how to code to make apps on the iPad and the iPhone.
Oh, very cool.
And it's really simple. It's simplified to the point where you can just kind of drag and drop, but still learn the concepts. And then over on the right-hand side, after you build the code, you see a little guy who does all this stuff in code. So,
that's cool. That's like my kids did last year with code.org or coding.org, and they were excited because they do the little Minecraft game, and that was right up their alleys.
Well, what's really nice about this is so you kind of download lessons, and after you're done with those lessons, they actually give you templates that are workable templates, and you just build your code into the template, and all of a sudden you've built an animation that actually can play on an iPhone or an iPad.
That's cool.
Wow.
You can go down, once you get to the expert levels, you can take whatever you've built in that little sandbox and put it into what's called Xcode, which is the playground that you have to actually use to build apps. And you could legitimately build an app by the time you're done with this.
That's very cool.
Wow.
So, and it's all nice and pretty on the iPad and really easy. I was going through the lessons myself, and it pretty much just soaked up my whole weekend. I was like, oh, I got to figure out how to move him 4 steps. And how do I get him to collect this gem? And, we got into loops, and we got into Boolean values and all kinds of stuff that I hadn't seen in a long time. It was just neat to see it because it's in there in the code the way they did it. It was very engaging, which was really exciting.
Very cool.
So,
Yeah.
all right, guys.
Well, I have to
Thank
say
you for
that
coming.
I need
appreciate
to.
it. What's that?
I said I hate to say I got to go. My daughter's class is over, so I got to go back in the building.
Yeah, no, that's a good time to wrap things up. So I will send you an email.
Okay.
We'll have some more information about what we talked about. As I get info about the webinar on the 28th, I will funnel that your way.
Okay.
Other than that, anything comes up, and you need anything from me, just give me a call or shoot me an email, and we will go from there. Like I said, I'm excited about moving forward this year.
Yes, thank you, Danny.
Of course. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
All right.